This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
And we need to get to some breaking news now at 5. A truck crashes into a church. It happened in St. Charles, just blocks away from historic Main Street. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brent Solomon. This all happened within just the past couple of hours at the Emerson Unitarian Universalist Chapel near 5th and Jefferson. 5 on your side's Annie Krall is live on scene now with the very latest for us. Fill us in, Annie.
Brent, we were the first news crew on scene just about 30 minutes after the crash happened. As you can see over my shoulder, there are construction crews working on filling in a hole that was left by seemingly a large yellow pickup truck that drove into the side of the church. Police and fire crews have been out here all afternoon trying to work on making this building safe since there was a threat of it collapsing. I spoke with Captain Kelly Hunsel with the St. Charles Fire Department, and she told me that they made sure the building was safe to enter and eventually patch up with wood for the owners. She also said that the only injury was the driver, who was taken to a local hospital for his injuries. As the investigation continues, St. Charles Fire says it looks like the driver was trying to avoid a different potential collision, but then unfortunately ran into the side of the Emerson Unitarian Universalist Chapel instead. Neighbors in the area were shocked at this scene, and fire crews were just grateful it wasn't worse.
And it's something you don't normally see, you know, building collapse. And
this situation is, you know, it's a Saturday, but there was no one in the building at the time of the accident, which is good. You know, this building does house a church, so this could have been a very different situation had this been tomorrow morning or something. Luckily, no one was inside at the time of the accident, just that one injury to the vehicle driver.
Fire crews tell me that they are very fortunate it was not worse, as you just heard, and they were asking people to stay away from this area because luckily there is no threat of the building collapsing as of right now, but they do need to continue the cleaning up and, of course, as you see, the boarding up process. Reporting live in St. Charles, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
All right, Annie, keep us posted. Let's go ahead and get now to your weather first forecast in just a moment. Here we have a live image over downtown. A great weekend to enjoy the outdoors. Let's get over to meteorologist Gary Frank standing by with a closer look.
Yeah, pretty warm outside, Brent, as we've had a nice afternoon. After a cool start to the morning, we've warmed up nicely this afternoon as we look at Missouri Botanical Garden, everything greening up, and you'll start to see that trees-wise, our separation from temps in the mid-70s in Illinois, but the low to mid-80s on the Missouri side, even at the Capitol at 86 degrees, 85 in Sullivan. Definitely one of the warmer spots that we've seen here of recent as we start to transition into that warmer air mass over the next few days. It is relatively quiet as we continue to see high clouds here stream in from the west, but for the most part, it has stayed quiet. We'll stay that way the rest of the night and the weekend. But it's this system that will have more of an impact on our weather as we look into Monday and Tuesday. It will be responsible for a severe weather threat that we are in the middle of, and how things come together still remains to be seen, but it is very warm and it will stay mild into the overnight hours as we only drop in the low to mid 60s. For tomorrow, even warmer conditions ahead. We'll talk about how close we are to records, not only today, but the next couple of days before that storm arrives and brings us our threat for severe weather as we time that out in just a few minutes.
All right, stay close, Gary. Right now, a bill making its way through the Missouri Senate would allow more students to leave public schools and enroll in private schools. The school choice proposal would also set the minimum salary for teachers at $40,000. The senator who wrote the bill joined political editor Mark Maxwell on this week's episode of The Record. You can catch our full conversation with that senator on this week's episode of The Record, which airs Sunday night after Sports Plus. Today, hundreds of St. Louisans spent their Saturday helping those in need. Volunteers packed thousands of meals for kids around the world. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay has this story for us from West St. Louis County.
For the past 4 days, this has been the scene from inside the Greensfelder Recreation Complex in Manchester.
Just being here with like this huge community and just all helping out for a really, really great cause. It's been special.
It's the 18th year that Feed the Need STL has packed food for Feed My Starving Children. a nonprofit dedicated to addressing the issue of world hunger.
This food is so important because food is the foundation for all other progress.
Carrie Wiggins with Feed My Starving Children says the foundation is even more important than ever, with food insecurity at an all-time high across the world and recent events exacerbating the problem.
Everything that happened over the years during the pandemic created large amounts of food shortages, and the amount of conflict that we're seeing in the world today.
That's why St. Louisans are stepping up to the challenge. Over 5,000 volunteers helping pack 1.2 million meals over the course of the 5-day event.
We hit a huge milestone this week, have packed the 10 millionth meal that this community has worked with this event over those 18 years.
The food that was packed here just on Saturday morning will help feed 362 kids for an entire year.
We just really wanted to give back.
Among the over 400 volunteers giving back was this group of brownies, who helped scoop and pack the food that's sent to a network of humanitarian organizations around the world.
It's really nice. It's because you, down deep into your heart, you know that you're doing something really good.
A good deed that everyone inside this rec complex knows just begins to scratch the surface.
We'll never be able to even the score completely, but just helping out as much as we can is just so important. Everything you do to serve your community is important.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
A story that makes you smile. Tomorrow is the last day for that week-long food packing event. Volunteers will be back at Queenie Park tomorrow from 1 until 3 p.m. Well, right now, an effort to bring mountain biking to the city. Today, the South City Otters came together with other volunteers to begin building the first part of bike trails in Carondelet Park. The Otters are made up of St. Louis student athletes who love mountain biking. Tune in tonight at 5 on your side at 10 to hear more about their plans. The St. Louis County Library was packed today in support of children with autism. The Florissant Valley branch hosted a community autism expo this afternoon. Families were connected with area groups to learn about the services and resources available. The event organizer says he wanted to do something to help people like him.
Being an adult with a late autism diagnosis at age 37, a year after I received an autism diagnosis, I wanted to do something proactive with my life. I didn't want anyone to have to struggle, especially a young person following in my footsteps.
Now, St. Louis County Libraries have resources on site. At every branch, you can find sensory bags for kids. Just ask a library employee. Today in Ladue, the Missouri Miss Amazing Show. This show features dozens of girls and young women with physical or mental disabilities. They showcase their skills at Ladue Horton Watkins High School. Event organizers say this allows them to have the opportunity to change the status quo. The Miss Amazing organization has chapters all over the country. They provide development opportunities for disabled girls to build confidence and self-esteem. New developments in the Middle East, the latest on the conflict in Israel. And counseling debt, the latest effort by the Biden administration to provide some financial relief.